Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. So today, we're diving straight into what is, honestly, probably the most mind-blowing athletic feat happening in the world of sports right now. We're talking about Kylian Mbappé and his absolute record-shattering tear at the 2026 FIFA World Cup. If you're a fan of seeing complex historical data broken down clearly and visually, well, you're absolutely in the right place. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this. For years, pretty much the entire global football community has universally agreed that Cristiano Ronaldo is Mr. Champions League, right? It's not just a fun nickname, it's just a statistical reality. He basically transformed Europe's most prestigious club competition into his own personal stage. But that brings up a really fascinating question, and it's one we're literally seeing answered right in front of our eyes. If Ronaldo owns club football's biggest stage, who exactly is Mr. World Cup?
Actually, I really love this quote from the global sports coverage over at Vietnam.vn. It says, "If the Champions League belongs to Ronaldo, then Mbappé seems to have been born for the World Cup." And it's so fitting because growing up, Mbappé totally idolized Cristiano Ronaldo. We all know the story of his bedroom walls famously being covered in posters of the Portuguese legend. But here's the thing, instead of just becoming a carbon copy of his childhood hero, Mbappé is carving out a legacy that is entirely his own. He isn't just participating in the World Cup, he is systematically conquering it.
Section 1. Meet Mr. World Cup, the 2026 breakthrough against Sweden. So let's fast forward to the ongoing 2026 tournament. Just days ago, France faced off against Sweden in the round of 32 over at the New York, New Jersey Stadium. Didier Deschamps' squad secured a really comprehensive 3-0 victory to punch their ticket to the round of 16 against Paraguay. Now, Bradley Barcola did add a goal of his own, but the night unequivocally belonged to Mbappé. He dropped a stunning brace, which brings us to our first rapid-fire stat, 18. With those goals, he hit an unbelievable 18 total career World Cup goals, blowing right past former German striker Miroslav Klose's legendary mark to become the outright second highest goal scorer in the entire history of the tournament.
But hang on, because the numbers actually get even crazier. So, the crucial point is, he didn't just score 18 goals, he scored those 18 goals in exactly 18 matches. Think about that for a second. That is a completely flawless average of 1 goal per game on literally the absolute hardest, most heavily defended stage in global football. I mean, there are world-class strikers who score plenty in their domestic leagues but completely freeze up at the World Cup. Mbappé, however, is operating at absolute maximum efficiency.
And just to conclude this little stat blitz, 3. Mbappé has achieved this monumental volume of 18 goals across just 3 World Cup tournaments. 2018 in Russia, 2022 in Qatar, and now 2026 here in North America. Keep in mind, he's still only 27 years old. The speed at which he is accumulating these numbers is completely unprecedented in the almost 100-year history of the competition.
Section 2. The Knockout King. Dominating when it matters most.
Sports fans and historians place a massive value on what we call the clutch factor. Because it's one thing to score a bunch of goals in the group stages against lower-ranked teams when you still have a safety net. But it is a completely different animal to deliver under immense do-or-die pressure, where one single mistake means your country is eliminated and you have to wait 4 years for another chance. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what kind of player Mbappé is. Out of his 18 total World Cup goals, a staggering 10 of them have come in the high-stakes knockout stages, compared to 8 in the group stage. So more than half of his goals happen when defeat literally means going home. He definitely isn't just padding his stats. He actively becomes more dangerous as the tournament gets harder.
And this builds into an even larger historical context. Before that match against Sweden, the all-time record for World Cup knockout goals was 9. It was a joint record held by 2 Brazilian legends, Leonidas, who set his mark way back in 1938, and Ronaldo Nazario, who matched it in 2006. That record stood totally unbroken for 20 years. But with his second goal of the night against Sweden, Mbappé reached 10 knockout goals. He shattered that 2-decade tie to stand completely alone as the outright knockout king of the world.
Section 3. Historic hat tricks, making history in the finals.
The World Cup final is, without a doubt, the absolute biggest, most-watched stage in all of sports. The pressure is suffocating. Yet, for Mbappé, it's simply a canvas where he paints his masterpieces. Tracing his timeline here really puts his evolution into perspective. Back in 2018, as a 19-year-old prodigy, he became the second youngest player to score in a World Cup final, since Pelé in 1958. Then 4 years later, in 2022, he didn't just win the Golden Boot with 8 goals, he dropped an unforgettable hat trick in the final against Argentina. He matched Jeff Hurst's famous 1966 feat, becoming only the second man in history to score 3 goals in a World Cup final. And now, in 2026, he is the outright knockout goal leader. He is defining the modern era of the tournament.
Section 4. Chasing Messi's Crown. The ultimate race for history.
Now, as dominant as Mbappé has been, there is exactly one man still standing above him in the all-time goal-scoring charts, the legendary Argentine captain himself, Lionel Messi. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer contrast in pace. Messi currently holds the all-time tournament record with 19 career World Cup goals. He is a genius of the game, obviously, but it took him 29 matches, spread across an incredible 6 World Cup tournaments to reach that number. On the flip side, Mbappé is sitting at 18 goals, trailing by just a single strike, but he has done it in only 18 matches across 3 tournaments. The velocity with which Mbappé is closing the gap is truly frightening.
And the craziest part? The battle isn't just historical, it is happening right now, live. Just look at the 2026 Golden Boot standings as we speak. Both Mbappé and Messi are locked at the top with 6 goals each in this tournament alone. However, Mbappé currently edges out Messi for the #1 spot based on the tournament's tiebreaker rules, possessing 2 assists to Messi's 0. Meanwhile, you've got Norway's Erling Haaland sitting right behind them with 5 goals after a late winner against Ivory Coast. It is, no joke, the ultimate race for history.
Now, despite all these records tumbling around him, listen to what Mbappé said to a translator after that Sweden match. He said, "I'm very aware of who I am, how I play, what I shall do, but it's not just about me." He emphasized that the team was slightly timid at the start and needs to stay focused. It's a striking level of humility and collective focus as France prepares to travel to Philadelphia to face Paraguay in the round of 16. It shows exactly why he thrives. He stays grounded in the mission of winning, and the individual records, well, they simply follow.
Which leaves us with one massive lingering question. With 18 goals to his name, Kylian Mbappé trails Lionel Messi by just 1 goal to tie and 2 goals to take the outright undisputed crown as the greatest goal scorer in the history of the FIFA World Cup. France is heading deep into the knockout stages, which is his specialty, so can he do it before this tournament is over? The stage is set, the math is totally clear, and the world is watching. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and enjoy the rest of the World Cup.